mean, I think it's one of those problems that permeates everything. We didn't play hard. And maybe it's a little more complicated than that. We played soft as much as anything. There was just nothing we did with any force. So they just knocked us back offensively, and then we were just, there wasn't an urgency on defense that we've been playing with. I think we, whatever our preparation was, just as far as just individually and collectively what our mindset was going into the game, we didn't have the right focus when the game started. It felt a little like some of the, a couple games we had earlier in the year. But I mean, this was, there was so much to talk about, and that was part of you couldn't really address anything tactically. There was basically everything we did lacked. And sometimes you just got to execute harder, better. And that's to me what it was about. There was a few little things we weren't making shots to go with it, and that you can't rely on making shots to give you that juice. We didn't bring that. It looked like we were content. No, I think Gordon really, when he gave us a lot of energy defensively, but Gordon needs help. We can't just say, hey, Gordon, save us. We got other guys that are capable. So I mean, I've been pretty adamant about keeping guys minutes where I think they need to be, and I did bring him in a little sooner actually. I mean, not a lot, but a minute or two sooner than I usually do. But that 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, we were getting really good shots. We just missed them. So I felt like we kind of got over the hump a little bit, like offensively, where he could get a little rest. That was my thinking. A couple of weeks ago, I really challenged him because I think he's an intelligent player, and sometimes you can be content to be intelligent on offense, or you can be equally intelligent on defense. And I think he felt, he started guarding the ball and was just really active hands. Played with a lot, he played like we were down 20 points. And it was good to see that urgency in him, and I think our team fed off that. So he was, he's not the most physical guy, but I thought he played with physicality during the game too. Well, I mean, we're a team right now that the idea of a big win to me is kind of a misnomer. I mean, we played well. The idea of a winning streak, as much frankly as a losing streak. We got beat by San Antonio at San Antonio, and we lost to maybe the hottest team in the NBA, and that wasn't a losing streak. That was 2 losses. And then we beat Milwaukee, which was a really good win, and then Brooklyn was a really good win. But we need to take each game in and of itself. If that, if we've lost 4 in a row, I mean, whether we want to call it a losing streak or a winning streak, to me is really, it's less about what we define it as and more about us being ready to play the next game. So I think what we're saying, that it certainly we didn't respond well to playing well. And we've been a team that struggled to play well for an entire game. And I think we did that against Brooklyn. Well, now the question is playing well for an entire game again. And we weren't ready to do that. I don't know that we're mature enough to do that. That's what it looked like to me tonight. And that's part of it. It's harder to sustain it. I think so much of if you look at how minutes that starters play with each other in an NBA game, it's I guess it's not that much over the course of an entire game. So it's really always about combinations and trying to find different combinations that work. What I would really like to get to is that Trey is both my offensive and defensive player, and Dante is both my defensive and offensive player. And that's where I'm not going to be satisfied with Dante not being efficient offensively and not playing with enough toughness, and I'm not going to be satisfied with Trey not defending, not being as tough as he needs to be on the ball. So we'll just keep looking for the guys that want to play the way we're playing, and for the most part, both those guys have done that this year, or at least try to. So, who we play and who we start and how that mixes up. Ennis tonight played with so much passion. I mean, you can feel it, and so sometimes guys don't, like, a player can force you to play them. Like, coaches want to win, so as far as minutes go, you may go into a game thinking Trey or Dante, and if they're both playing great, I'm going to try to play both. Tonight, Dante looked really tired to me, and so we, substituted Trey earlier in the second half, but, I want both those guys, if they can push each other, all the better.